What is going on, guys? We are back. Curt and Bob show. He's Curt, I'm Bob. We have a couple special guests here. Today we're doing the mock draft, 2022 NFL draft. We got Brett Nelson here, USF college football recruiting.
Recruiting specialist.
Yeah, yeah. And then we also have Colin Sanders back with us again, my roommate and college football guru. Knows a lot about a lot. So he's here with us today.
Important to note too, Bob.
Fun.
First, second time guest. Huge props to Colin for the second
I couldn't have said it better
myself. Yep. So we got a packed cast going here. So we're doing the mock today. We got Curtis split the teams up here. So we each have what do we have?
We each got 8 picks here. Eight picks a
yeah.
person. Each of us have 2 double picks, so there's 8 teams in this year's draft with 2 picks in the first round, so it made it really easy to break down. So we've all got our fair share of double picks for these teams. And yeah, we're not going to do any trades. We're just
trades, right?
as likely as trades are this draft, it's too hard to predict that, and we could just mess up the whole thing doing it. So might as well just stick with the 1 through 32.
Right, pick for pick, going down the list. And I think, do we want to, before we get into this, do we want to reveal our draft strategies, just for funsies, maybe?
I'm not revealing anything to you, Bob.
I'll reveal mine.
I got my strategy packed.
Mine's not deep at all. Mine is best available with a couple reaches here and there where I think where I really like a guy. So I think it's a pretty common draft strategy, unless people are absolutely going to be doing some crazy picks and reaching. I don't know if you guys want to reveal yours. Mine's pretty basic, and I didn't really give anything away when I said that. So
yeah, I don't think anything too crazy, but you never know. And I think with that, we've got our mock draft here right in front. You guys should be able to see here. So we're going to get right into this. And Colin is going to start us off with the number 1 overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Colin, what's the consensus here?
Well, to be honest with you, there was not a consensus until this morning. I know we were talking earlier, and
Okay.
I said that I had it figured out for the past few days. And I've been losing sleep over it, honestly. I don't know how the real life Jags GM is handling the pressure, because this is really, it's a lot. I was flipping Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson. I'm driving back to Athens last night, and I think, why not Kayvon Thibodeau? So I had 3 days rolling around my head last night, and I wake up, and I just decided that there's only one guy. There's one true choice when you really look at it. So with the first pick, I'm taking Trayvon Walker from the University of Georgia. And
wow. I'm surprised. I am surprised at that.
That's where I started on Friday. I flipped to Aiden Hutchinson this weekend, and then I came back today with all the rising Trayvon Walker news with the betting odds and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Vegas
and
knows
I think Vegas knows something, and it just makes too much sense. He's too versatile. He's too athletically gifted.
Too massive.
They've got a great D-line coach who can shape him, and I think that this is just a perfect fit.
Yeah, no, amazing. I really did think you were going to go Hutchinson. I thought you were going to give me and Bob a hard time for our Hutchinson criticism today. So I'm really surprised. Brett, what's your take on the Hutchinson versus Walker?
So I thought Hutchinson was a surefire number 1 pick. He's shot up the board since the start of the season. And then Walker, the past few days, he's really jumped up Jacksonville's board, and, people
Definitely.
within their organization. I love Trayvon Walker now, so I now kind of expecting him to go number 1. So I think that Colin's pick is going to line up with what we see Thursday.
Got it.
Wow.
Love it. Bob, you like it? Big fan?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily expecting it, because I feel like it's a little bit of a reach for Trayvon. But the homer in me is saying, go Dogs.
Highest upside in the draft if he turns out well.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
In my opinion.
That's and you're totally right, Colin. That is a huge pick for the Jaguars because this is a jobs on the line pick for them. So you're going to see a lot of front office changes if Trayvon Walker, if he does actually get picked, if he doesn't turn out how they think, there's a lot of jobs on the line there. So
yeah.
And with that being said too, that kind of you didn't take my pick. I'm going to be drafting for the Lions here, number 2 overall, and I'll also be drafting for him at 32. But to be honest, I was so certain you were going Hutchinson, and I was just gonna go ahead and take. I was probably gonna take Thibodeau, just no questions asked. I thought he was definitely next best, fits that Detroit play style. But now I'm the Detroit front office, and now I have Hutchinson just sitting here right in front of my face, and it's really hard to look past him. I love Thibodeau in this, but I've talked to Bob a bit about my Oregon PTSD with Deion Jordan for that Miami took back. I think it was 2013. It was 13 or 14, but that definitely exists, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to do it because I feel like the front office would do it. It's too much of a gimme and a good chance. Not to mention hometown talent, baby. Michigan going to Detroit, so I've got to take Hutchinson at 2 here. That's already not what I was planning to do. So already a good mix up, and that's probably how the real day of the draft is gonna go here as well. So I think I just have to take Hutchinson because I like Thibodeau a lot, but I can't confidently look any of you guys in the eyes and say that Thibodeau is the clear better talent than Hutchinson. I think there's a bit more of an argument with Trayvon Walker, but I've got to take him. So your guys' takes on that?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit surprised. Maybe I'm Malik Willis at 2. You know what I mean? Is like. If I had the second pick in the draft, I don't know that I'd take Malik Willis.
Yeah.
But just something about today, I didn't know who had the number 2 pick, but I was like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Malik Willis go number 2 here.
I definitely was thinking about it, but just in my mind, and after our episode on last Wednesday or Thursday, I think we did Thursday, but after that episode and when we were really diving into the Lions and looking at their roster, like they really are doable on offense. They were the worst team in the league on defense. When you pull up their roster, you don't know a lot of the guys, and the guys you do know were either hurt or not playing well. So I just Lions 2 first rounders. We'll see what's there at 32 and what's hanging around. But I have to address the defense with the second overall pick. It's just. The Lions aren't in a position that they need to take the risk of a quarterback at 2. I think they have a really good core offense built up, and I don't think they need to throw a wrench in it by leaving the defense as bad as it is and then, just adding a risk on offense, because who knows what Malik Willis is going to do against NFL talent. We saw what he did against, farmers and Liberty schools, but we'll see how it goes. But, yeah.
I think any other year, you probably see a quarterback taken in this spot.
100%.
I think the class this year is leaves a lot to be desired, especially with quarterbacks. So I think they'll probably go for best available. So I think Hutch is a good pick.
Yeah, no, I think it's too hard to pass up.
It's a good pick, but it's a bad pick.
Of course, because he's a bust, right, Bob? Right? He's true. So
you gotta love the Michigan story, though.
Of course, you gotta love drafting the hometown player. You got was gonna for sure. Keep him in Michigan. Those jerseys will sell out on draft night, and we will go from there. So with the Texans now, number 3 overall, Brett, what are we thinking?
So the Texans were a bit of a tricky team for me because they need so much. I think they're in a position where they don't have like a ton of elite players. They have Brandon Cooks had a good year last year. They didn't really make any splashes in free agency. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I think they want to see what they have in Davis Mills, maybe one more year.
For sure.
So I think one of the hardest positions to get elite talent at, or 2 of the hardest, are both corner and tackles and O-linemen. You have Stingley up here, you have Sauce Gardner, but you also have 3 great tackles. So I think that the best thing for their future is to go with a solid tackle for the next 10 years. So I'm actually going to go with Evan Neal from Alabama.
Love it.
He's 6'8". He's just a monster. He's the biggest guy on the field every time. And I think that when you have someone that physically imposing, you're going to win a lot of those battles, especially in pass protection, as well as downfield running.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I absolutely love the pick. I've said multiple times on the pod, I think Evan Neal's my number one player overall in the draft. Just, regardless of position, I think he's the best player in the draft, but just needs at 1 and 2, overtake that. The Lions and Jags aren't necessarily struggling at offensive line. So I think, the linemen drop a little bit, but I love the pick. Evan Neal, number 3. I'm interested to see if it actually happens, but yeah, what do you guys think on that one?
I can't blame you, but I was expecting to see Kayvon Thibodeau, honestly.
Yeah,
I think I was too.
I definitely was as well, but I love it. I love the Evan Neal pick.
Yeah, you could make a case for about five or six guys here at the spot, and I just think the Texans need so much. And I think because offensive line talent, I feel like half the league has bad offensive lines, relatively. So I think that getting a rock star left tackle for the next decade is what the Texans are going to look for.
Yeah. No,
you can never be mad about a killer bookend tackle.
No kidding. So that's awesome. Love that pick. And then Colin, we got Colin, the GM of also the Jets, picking up at our number 4 spot here.
Well, like I said, I thought that all 3 of the top edge rushers were going to be off the board here. So my plan was going to be a little bit more need-based. Kayvon Thibodeau. I was going to go with Sauce probably because corners in need, wide receivers in need too, but I think that the defense still needs help on the edges. You always need to rush the passer, and when you get a talent like him at 4, when you're expecting him to probably go top 3, I don't think that there's really another choice.
Got it. Yeah. No, I like that. I like
you guys are a
He's
bunch
still
of
there.
jerks. I'm sitting here at 5, and all the edge rushers are off the board, and I'm just like, oh.
That really is how it might go, and that's how I think it's. If the Thibodeau or even a Trayvon Walker did drop to a 4 or 5, I feel like the Jets or the Giants are going to be the first ones that jump on that. They need a boost in New York. Both of those teams have just been so average or just bad for the last 3-4 years. It's really brutal to watch. So they really need someone to bring the juice on that defensive line for sure. Seeing as that offensive player isn't here, and with Thibodeau dropping, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, he's been. He was the consensus number 1, I would say, before the season started. Everyone loved Kayvon Thibodeau, and I think
I think it was even until the Ohio State game, he was number 1, and then once Michigan played Ohio State and Aiden Hutchinson kind of put on a decent performance there, he that's
that performance, right?
What'd you say?
I said a 3-sack performance, right?
Yeah,
just decent.
Listen, I can't give him too much credit, okay? I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Brett.
No, you're good. I was just going to say his body, he's made to play in the NFL. He's just huge. He has a great first step. So I think that he's going to be explosive off the line. I think he'll be an impact player his first year.
Yeah.
Number 1 recruit coming out of high school, too.
Those always transfer over well, it seems like. Yeah. No, great pick. Drops to 4 there. Definitely, I think surprising. Like I said, I was going to take him at 2 if the draft played out a little different. So definitely a great pick at 4, I think. And then, Bob, we got you with the next team in New York here with the New York Giants at number 5.
It's a tough spot to be in. That's all I got to say. I have my pick locked in now because if Thibodeau was going to be, if he was going to slip one more, I'd be snatching him up all day at 5th. Giants need help in a lot of different areas. And even Evan Neal was an option there for me at 5, but Brett got him. So I'm gonna go with my personal. I don't know if he's my personal favorite, but I think he's got some really good upside. As an offensive, just a really good player on the line is I'm going with Charles Cross. So
really,
I think that that there was a lot of. I think you look at who's going to be up here, in the tackle position, and you look at Evan Neal, and you look at even Ikem Ekwonu. I think that Charles Cross. I mean, I only really started diving deep into what he's been doing at Mississippi State, and until we started this podcast, Curtis, because the pancake blocks. So I think I don't know. The Giants really need help on the O-line. They need guards and they need tackles. They need to address the O-line in every way, shape, and form. So I think that starting there is. I mean, I don't know. I could have gone Ekwonu. I could have gone Charles Cross, but I went Charles Cross. I think he's gonna be a better player.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I personally like Ekwonu a lot, just because of the more tape and more film that I've watched on him, just running full stride down the sidelines and slamming people, slamming defensive backs, being the lead blocker. I think he's got that movement style that, especially for the Giants, that maybe Saquon would enjoy having someone who will run down the field with him, seeing that it's probably felt like he's 1 versus 11 for the times that he does get to touch the ball when he's not injured. But I like the different opinion here with the Charles Cross, because he's actually one of the linemen that I wasn't feeling as much to the transition, but I'll let we've talked about these guys a lot. I'll let Brett and Colin chime in for the offensive lineman debate here too.
I think that I don't think you can go wrong necessarily with either Cross or Ekwonu. Cross is so big though. He's 6'5", 300, and he's got incredible length. I think the only real question, well, there are 2 things that I was concerned about. Maybe is his footwork wasn't the greatest. Watching his first step, he kind of takes like a massive first step. His feet looked a little tight together. And then also most of the stuff that Mississippi State did was a lot of like zone running schemes. So I don't know how that'll translate to the more NFL. He has incredible length, and that length is something that you can't teach, and it'll always translate into the next level.
Yeah. Colin?
Yeah. I think I personally would probably take Ekwonu here, but this is a really weird spot for the Giants, especially having another pick right after this. That this is probably a spot where they would maybe look to trade out of if they didn't love someone.
That's what I was thinking too.
But obviously no trades here in this mock draft,
Right.
So offensive line, you always need it. Can't win without it. So
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it really came down to pass protection and run blocking. I know Ekwonu is the better run blocker, but I think, I don't know. I'm trying to get the most out of Danny Dimes while he's with the Giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Saquon's a really good running back. I think he could use the help, but I don't think he needs it. I think Daniel Jones needs it more.
Okay. Yeah.
And
no.
I went with pass protector rather than run blocker. So.
Yeah. I like that we're kind of split 2-2, it seems like, and at the end of the day, like Brett said, they're both fantastic prospects, and they're they have a good chance to make an impression in the NFL. So definitely interesting. And I think one thing that's hard to even say about the trade is once these top edge rushers and and Evan Neal goes off the board, I think it just gets harder and harder to find a good deal to trade up, right? Especially in this year where a lot of teams believe that their player is going to fall to them because the top 15, top 20 is such a mixed bag. I think trading might even be a little bit difficult this year. We'll see. Teams will obviously be offering trades, but it may not be one worth it in another year. Per se, like when San Francisco gave Miami 3 first-rounders just to move up to the number 3 spot last year, all to get Trey Lance, right? So I don't think we're going to see any blockbuster like that. to move up for a single player, but we'll definitely see. It's going to be an exciting draft day, and I'm glad we're just going in order here. So with that, we'll go right into the Panthers, which I think is going to probably be the most controversial team picking this draft, because they have this 6th overall pick, and like we talked about on Thursday, Bob, that with this 6th overall pick, they have to hit a home run because they don't pick again until I believe it's pick 134, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a big gap. So, do you live with Sam Darnold? The head coach, McAdoo, or offensive coordinator, I should say, Ben McAdoo, was in an interview recently, and he kind of bit his tongue on an answer. A reporter asked him if Sam Darnold was going to be their starting quarterback in the start of the season. He immediately, no hesitation, just said, yes, Sam Darnold is our starting quarterback. And then a minute later in the interview goes, hey, I'm still trying to get better at talking to media. I shouldn't have said that Sam is going to be our starting quarterback because, that's up in the air. So it seems to me like he gave away a bit of the draft strategy. I'm going off his initial reaction because that's just his no hesitation. Yeah, Sam's our starting quarterback. That tells me that they're not in love with any of these quarterback prospects early, at least, especially seeing as they don't have picks in the 2nd or 3rd round, or even in the later 1st. So with the Panthers' 6th overall pick, I'm going to go off that, and I'm going to say that they are going to give Sam Darnold that year. They're going to let DJ Moore and McCaffrey work it, and they're going to address that horrendous offensive line and take Ekwonu off the board here. And, we just talked a good bit about Ekwonu with the Charles Cross debate and everything, so, not too much to dive into. But, yeah, I think I have to take a lineman here. I don't know if I love a quarterback here more than I do Sam Darnold, who's not great, but like a Jared Goff is serviceable enough, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think on that?
I think that given, Neal and Cross being off the board for this mock draft, I think that definitely the Panthers are going to look at the offensive line situation and say, it's Ekwonu, you're kind of crossing your fingers in the late first round. These guys are all top 10 prospects, so I think that they're probably going to ride it out with Sam another year and see where, things stand in terms of, the free agent market for quarterbacks or the draft next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can go ahead.
I'm a little bit surprised, I'm not going to lie. I think we might see the Panthers take a QB here. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit surprised.
I think I don't like it, though.
I'm not sure that I like it either, but I think it might happen is what I'll say. So, I think your pick is probably, obviously it's personal preference, and we're not the Carolina Panthers. So
yeah, at the end of the day, we're not sure what's going on behind the closed doors, but I think that was a big slip up for
the offensive that I've been reading recently. The reports I've been reading have just been saying that quarterback is maybe something that they're going to look at here, and so the 5th pick that the Giants have maybe is a spot that people who want a quarterback are going to try and trade up for if they think the Panthers are going to take Willis or Pickett or whoever. So, yeah, I think that Ekwonu is the best pick here if you're going to stay because of the caliber of the player and because you already have Sam Darnold. So,
yeah. I agree. And so with that being said, we're right back to Bob here with the Giants, GM of the Giants, picking at 5, now picking at 7. So Bob, what are you feeling?
I don't like the situation you put me in, Curtis. I don't like
Were you gonna go double offensive tackle, really?
See, here's the thing: is at 5, I was hoping to get an edge rusher, but everything. It blew everything up for me. So I'm not gonna go. I wasn't gonna go double tackles. I wasn't, but I was also hoping an edge rusher would be there. I was hoping that Trayvon Walker would be there or Thibodeau would be there.
Yeah.
So I'm really, if I'm the Giants here, I don't like any of these guys to fit our team. And I'd be looking to trade this pick, like Colin said earlier. But if I must,
and you must,
and I must, I think I'm going to take Ahmad Gardner right here.
Okay, just best available.
I'm gonna take Sauce. I think I'm gonna take Mr. Sauce. And you know, but I'm. They don't really need corners. I think that it's something that they can always address, and I think. See, I wanted to go with like a Devin Lloyd up here, but you can't draft a linebacker this high. I just don't think you can talent-wise. You cannot go that high. And I was thinking about a Kyle Hamilton, but with a man whose 40 time was barely faster than Jordan Davis, it makes me a little bit. It throws me off a little bit. It's like, I don't know. I think I just got to go Sauce there. I can't go skill position. You can't get a wide receiver. We talked about like last week, Curtis. They got. Why this? They got. Don't they have Shepard still?
Yeah, Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate. Golden Tate, I think, is not happy.
Tony is looking out, or they're looking to shop him or something.
That was an interesting. Yeah, that was an interesting little headline that popped out randomly in the middle of last week and then died down. I saw as Kadarius Toney available for trade apparently this draft. So, that's a good point, Colin. And I don't know. If you're the Giants, you have 2 picks this close together, this high. I really do think they're going to be one of the teams that is looking to get some value out of one of these picks, seeing as, maybe they think they just need one of them. And like Bob was thinking, he thought an edge rusher was going to fall. They didn't. Who knows, maybe the Giants front office is in the same boat where they want to just get out right at 5 and they don't even want to take their guy at 5 and just take the best available at 7. So that's a good pick, I think. I think he's the best corner in this draft. Obviously, Stingley's there, and Stingley's was so great, but it's just been, it's been a little bit. Obviously, he's still young, so it's not like he's out of his prime by any means. But that's.
Yeah, I thought about Stingley.
Yeah,
I thought Stingley might be not necessarily a reach, but something that they're home for a home run on, and I don't know. I think Sauce will just play better. But
sure. I think
he'll I don't know. I obviously called last week on this podcast. I called Stingley like a young Jalen Ramsey or a mini Jalen Ramsey. So
gotta stick.
It looks a little bit iffy for me if I'm taking Sauce before Stingley, but I do think Stingley will probably pan out to be.
I like either of them, to be honest. I like them both.
It's really tough for me in this spot. I'm not going to lie. I don't like being in that spot, but I would not like being the Giants in this draft right here. So, anyways, who's next? Who we got at 8?
So, we got me at 8. Drafting for yours and Colin's team, the Atlanta Falcons, baby. So,
how did we let this happen? How did one of us not get it?
I asked Bob. I said, "Hey, should you or Colin pick, or should I make me or Brett pick it to just stir the pot?" And
I told him no. I said,
Bob said, "Stir that." Bob said, "Stir that pot." So then I thought, these guys are Falcons fans. I don't want to give it to Brett because I don't want both of these guys to just go off their rocker and start ripping Brett apart. So I'm gonna take the heat, but I'm hoping there isn't much heat to be taken here. Because for me, I'm just going to close my eyes and say, yes, I love you, Marcus Mariota, and I'm not going to think about it much farther than that, and I'm just going to take Garrett Wilson. I'm just going to take Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Need wide receiver, like you guys have said multiple times. Atlanta literally has no one to throw to. Kyle Pitts is their number 1 receiver and number 1 tight end right now. So they need so much more help than 1 pick at wide receiver. So we'll see what else they do with their other picks. Like we went over Thursday, Bob, with I believe they have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, right? So I could easily see 2 receivers off the board for the Falcons, and I've got to take Garrett Wilson here right off the board at 8 because it's almost too easy. And you might some people might look at the Falcons like, oh, they need help at the here. They need help everywhere, and they're not going to fix the team in a year. So might as well just start taking the young, speedy talent to build around. So yeah, I'll take both of your guys' opinion on that one.
No heat. I like the pick.
Okay.
I'm thinking that, like I said, if this were a real draft, I see a quarterback going at least in the top 8 here. I see Malik Willis possibly going to the Falcons at 8. And I'm not saying that that's something that I enjoy seeing happen, but it just seems like Mariota is kind of a short-term kind of guy, and they're hoping that Malik Willis is going to come in and compete. But I really like Garrett Wilson. I like him a lot. I think he's probably my top receiver, barring Jameson Williams and his injury. So yeah, I like the pick.
I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Colin.
I was just gonna say I like the pick a lot. I think that's the realistic best case scenario for us. And when he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year and leads us to the playoffs, I'll be thanking you, Curtis, because you spoke it into existence.
Of course. Anything for my Falcons friends. Brett, what do you think about Garrett Wilson here?
I was just a bit surprised because I was expecting you to go with a quarterback here. I wasn't sure if you were gonna stick with Mariota.
It's
it's
tough.
One of those things though. Any other year, I think there's a quarterback goes here. This is not
exactly
QB class.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. I think any other year a QB goes here if Atlanta doesn't, with 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, if they don't trade up even a couple spots to try and really secure that QB here, if that guy is there. But the Falcons, just tough QB class for him this year, and if they pick a QB, and I kind of agree with you, Brett, thinking that it's going to be a QB because, and I sent Bob this as well last week, Arthur Smith, he did an interview on the Rich Eisen show, and Rich Eisen asked him point blank, he said, you excited to have Mariota in the building as your starting quarterback? And Arthur Smith immediately just went, listen, we're happy to have Mariota here to compete. We made it very clear to him that on the field he will be here to compete and, play quarterback for us in a competition. So he had zero affirmation of, I really think he could be a starting quarterback or anything. But, we're in that last 2-week period of the draft where it's all smoke and mirrors. So we don't actually have a clue what's going on behind the scenes. But I just had to take the receiver. I can't overthink the Falcons pick. They need help everywhere. I wish they had the first 10 picks in the first round for their own sake, but it's just there's a lot to be done in Atlanta. So just start off with the speedy receiver on a nice 4 or 5 year deal, 5th year option. So you got him locked up for a few years. So maybe if a QB comes down the road that they like, he'll have someone to throw to on top of Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is a phenomenal tight end who didn't get enough of the spotlight last year just because of Atlanta's offense in general was just rough to watch at any point. Unless you were watching Cordell Patterson, then that was really it. But so with that 8th pick, we've now got maybe the strangest, I think one of the strangest teams to be picking in the top 10 is the Seattle Seahawks, because for all of our recent lives, it's been the Russell Wilson show, and we've never talked about them having, such an opportunity to pick this high in a draft, it feels like. But Brett, that is you, Pete Carroll, and the GM of the Seahawks. So who do you like at 9 here?
This might be the most difficult and just odd spots to be in. Seattle, obviously, this isn't even their own pick. They still don't have theirs from the Jamal Adams trade.
Yeah.
And Seattle's a team that's always been, they're no stranger to drafting players with questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was thinking, Stingley hasn't played in a while. He's got some questions. Does Seattle want to pair him with Jamal Adams in that secondary and try to rekindle what they built, over 10 years ago? But I'm gonna pick on what I think will happen here, and I think that they're gonna take a quarterback here. Baker Mayfield's obviously out there. I don't think they want to go that route. I think they'd rather take their chances on one of the QBs in this draft. And I think Seattle will take a chance on Malik Willis and take him as the 9th overall pick.
I like that pick because there's so much talent on the board here that the Seahawks could take, but at the end of the day, are they really happy with Drew Lock throwing to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett? I don't think so. I know the story or the news out there is that the Seahawks like willingly asked for Drew Lock in the trade for Russell Wilson. Like they had another deal put together, I guess, and then the Seahawks, insisted that they get Drew Lock. But I would agree with your pick. I like the risk on Malik Willis here to add a little bit of electricity to that offense. That's definitely not going to feel the same without Russell Wilson there. So I think they definitely need something like that. And I like the pick. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens, but I like it. I don't know.
Yeah. I hate it because I'm a Drew Lock like believer.
No,
I think
Colin.
that Drew Lock, not because of his play on the field. It feels like something that needs to happen. He needs to play well for me. I like it because now I've got whoever, like the guys that I wanted at 10 are going to be there for me.
Sure.
Seahawks are in a weird spot though.
They are.
Because DK maybe wants out. Maybe they want to trade DK. The team's kind of in a weird spot here, like the Falcons have been in for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But it's a hard spot, and I do love the mix-up. I was not expecting Malik Willis to go here, so.
Yeah, I think if they don't draft him, someone's going to trade up and draft a quarterback, and I think that's something we'll be concerned about.
Yeah. No, I love it for the electricity of the pick. I think that's going to be, if that actually happens, that is going to be, oh my God. And that's going to, obviously, like you said, if it gets past this point, I think that's when those teams at 20 start to look, okay, we trade up for Willis now. I don't want him to fall any farther. But, if Seahawks took him right at 9, I think that takes a guy off of a lot of teams' big boards that they might have at their pick between, 15 even 13 and 20 with the Texans at 13. 13 in the late 20s. So I like it. I think that's a really, really good jab there. And yeah, Bob, what do you like Malik Willis in a Seattle uniform?
I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
I think that Seattle fans are going to thank Brett right now, especially because I've been hearing things about Trevor Penning, the tackle from Northern Iowa, potentially being, in that spot there, which is a little bit iffy in my eyes.
I agree. I don't love that.
I think that if that did happen, if Trevor Penning went to Seattle there'd be a lot of boos, a lot of unhappy people. So I think Malik Willis there is there's some excitement there. So I think he's saving some Seattle fans some saving their breath a little bit with that pick. So.
Yeah. And so with that, that crazy pick there, now we got Colin with number 10. Back to the Jets. What are you going to do for the city of New York here? You got their star edge rusher, so what do they need now? What does New York need to see?
Well, for my little personal comments under the 10th pick, I wrote, I have some wide receivers listed, and then I have Stingley if available, and 4th pick is edge. So
you have to go by the board.
With Robert Saleh being a defensive-minded guy, they need the cornerback help. I think it'd be too juicy not to go with Stingley. I mean, his freshman year, he was a lockdown. I'm not sure if he was All-American, but he was All-American caliber.
I think he was the top-ranked corner in the nation 2019, yeah.
He was going to be poised to do it again 2020, but COVID, and he had some injury stuff, and then ended up opting out, I think.
Yeah.
2021, injury stuff again, didn't really play the last 2 years. I think that if things had been different and he played the last 2 years, he'd be maybe a top 3 pick up there, giving Sauce a run for his money.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys have mentioned this on the show before, but he was even going to try and play both ways at LSU. He's that kind of athlete. He's dynamic.
Wow. I didn't know that, actually. That's a crazy
Derek Stingley is going to be my guy here at 10.
I like
Completely reshape the defense, and look out for the Jets this year.
I think you're going to need him because you got, me and Bob have talked about this whenever we bring up the AFC East. It's, you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and, Cedric Wilson as well, who is an absolute speedster in his own right. And then we have, Stephon Diggs with Beasley. Man, I Gabriel Davis as well. Yeah, you need a corner. You need corners if you're in the AFC East. You got to see these receivers twice a year. So I think it's a great like best available pick, and I think it's a pick the Jets. If this happened in real life, the Jets wouldn't think that he would drop to them at 10. So I like it.
I think that you're banking on kind of what you saw in 2019, but
totally.
I mean he has had both leg and foot injuries, so how does that affect his game speed and how he's able to play in game? He has elite speed. He's really good in press coverage, so I think talent wise he's absolutely there. I really hope that it pans out for them and that he doesn't suffer more injuries and is able to stay on the field.
Bob, you like Stingley?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Were you hoping he would fall to you at 11?
No, because I got something planned for 11 here.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how this will go, but
right.
I don't know. I think Stingley he's nice, good player. I think it's nice. I think it fits well with the Jets. I think that
definitely.
I think that him going at the Jets at number 4 in the draft isn't completely out of the realm of possibility either. If we're in real time, real draft. So I don't know. We'll see.
Definitely.
See how it goes.
Yeah. With that, take us right in. Washington Commanders now. Don't forget, everyone, they're the Commanders now, not just a football team. So we got Bob at 11 with the Commanders here, and what are we gonna take?
They need corners. Stingley's not there. Sauce is no longer there. You know what? I'm gonna change this right now, right here, right now. I'm thinking they don't really need safeties. I mean, they lost Landon Collins. I think that's something that could be addressed. But I think corner is a more pressing issue. And instead of going with Kyle Hamilton, which I was going to go with this pick, I believe I'm now changing it to Trent McDuffie.
I love
Trent McDuffie in that spot.
Love that. I'm really high on McDuffie. Like just myself as I like him a lot. And the more I watch of him, the more I see, man, he could be a great NFL corner. And like we talked about on Thursday, man, he's not going to a struggling defense. Best defensive line in the NFL, I think. They, great core around him, so he just needs to be there to lock him down for a second longer, so one of the 4 guys on the Washington D-line can get after the quarterback there. So I really like the pick.
Yeah, I think he's elite in coverage, and I think that the production is definitely there this last year, and I think that he's definitely. I think he's my second favorite corner on the board, just because I don't know what we're getting with Stingley. So I love the pick at 11.
Surprised not to see Kyle Hamilton here, but
yeah,
I love the chaos. I love the madness. I love changing it at the last second.
I had to go last minute. See, I was like, you know what? I'm glad Colin took Stingley there. That's fine. I'm gonna take Kyle Hamilton here, and then I'm like, man, they need corners bad. So
yeah,
if Stingley was there for that pick, maybe I would have switched up too and gone, man, Stingley's been dropping. Let me snag him here. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. No, I think that's. They definitely need a bit of help at corner and just, DBs in general. But like we've talked about, I think they have a great core to build around there. So with that, I'm going to take the Vikings at 12 here, who I still can't believe they're picking this high. I think they're a great team at number 12. So, one of their top needs is safety. So I really want to take Kyle Hamilton here, but I could definitely make the argument for a, inside guy like a Devontae Wyatt maybe, or Jordan Davis, something like that, because there's really only 2 of them that are going to get drafted in the first round. I think there's another pretty steep fall off in talent. So with that, I think is there going to be another safety that they like in the top of the second round, right? So it's really hard. This is hard. Yeah, I'm going to take Kyle Hamilton. I've got to take Kyle Hamilton here. He's just, kind of best available addresses a huge need for the Vikings as well. And I just have to take him. He's dropped to 12 here, and he's not going to make it to the second round. So as the Vikings, you got to grab him. And my God, 6'4", 220 is a safety, and they already have a Harrison Smith back there as well. So, talk about a great tag team. Not to mention, you got Patrick Peterson on the outside to help. So the Vikings could really build up a scary DB core here with the Kyle Hamilton pick.
Yeah, I think he could, with his size, I think he could be like, I think he could be similar to Derwin James, but maybe, he's so long, he's 6'4", length is always wins, especially on defense. He can get long arms and pass coverage and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how be in man coverage. I think, and especially, his speed is a little questionable. I'm not sure who was the one who mentioned earlier that he ran just a little faster than Jordan Davis. So
yeah,
he definitely, I think he needs to play safety. I don't think he's can be like a Tyrann Mathieu where you can put him in the slot as a slot
100%
corner or safety. But with his size, we've had big safeties have been successful in the past. Cam Chancellor is one. Derwin James, I think, is like 6'3". So definitely a good pick here.
I agree. I think that maybe you see the Vikings, if they pick him here, try and morph him into kind of like an Isaiah Simmons type of guy where you're going to bring him down into the box a lot, have him cover a tight end rather than a slot wide receiver, and be physical in the run game too, and allow you to keep a 5 DB set out there on the field, but still have the physicality to stop the run.
I was going to take him, 11, so I like it.
Big fan. Just had to switch up your strategy at the last second, and then we're going to go right back to the Texans here. So, Brett, another, team that needs a lot of help, and you got a lot of talent still on the board, I think, that they need help in. So who are you taking with the 13th overall for the Texans here?
We got them some O-lineman help at 3, so
yeah.
I think they still need a lot of stuff.
True.
I'm going back and forth between if they decide to start building their skill positions up with there's so many good wide receivers that are still on the board here, or if they look at what's the situation with edge rushers and if they want to go that route, which I think they might given the scarcity of them.
Yeah.
So I think here they might go with George Karlaftis.
Really? All right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
I'm a little surprised by that.
I am too. I know a lot of people are really high on him though, and I haven't done enough study on him myself, but he's massive, and the Texans it's between him and Jermaine Johnson, right? Who there's question marks around Jermaine Johnson as well. So I like it. I think it is a split between the two of them. So I could see it happening. I really could.
I don't see them taking a receiver. They got Brandon Cooks. So I think that probably right in the sense that instead of picking skill position. Team pick.
Yeah, I think it was just given how many receivers are on the board, and as well as they do have another pick at 37. I think there's someone they could get there if they really want to stick with the receiver. So I think they want someone who can come in and be like a bull rusher and get off the edge. And I think given that there's most of the guys left are interior defensive linemen, and then I think that's who we'll stick with.
Yeah, I like it. Now we got 14 with Colin on the Ravens. Another team who's very good to be picking this high, I think, once they have no injuries at the start of next season, fingers crossed.
Yeah, this is a spot where all the guys I was looking at really just came off the board in the last few picks.
Yeah.
Corner is kind of the spot that I think we could all agree on is a spot of big need for the Ravens, especially because the injuries there really affected how they played down the stretch.
Yeah, bad.
But with Bobby taking McDuffie and you taking Kyle Hamilton, I'm not sure I'm ready to take another one of the corners here. So that
Who would be
leaves
next? Like
me
Jalen Petrie or something like that? Would he be next?
Probably.
him, maybe Andrew Booth, maybe.
I forgot about
Elam from
Andrew.
Florida too. Elam,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm going to look to the defensive line, and Jermaine Johnson's a guy I think could go here, and then Devontae Wyatt or Jordan Davis. The Georgia 2020 trio, I should say. And I think I'm gonna go Jermaine Johnson. I wasn't expecting him to be here.
Okay.
And edge rushers, they run the league on the defense side of the ball, the way I see it. So if you don't have them, you're not gonna make a Super Bowl run. So I think that Jermaine Johnson goes here.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that high. Jermaine Johnson.
I think he fits
older player.
Baltimore.
I think, but he's an older player. He's playing. It's the classic older dude goes and plays at an ACC school. I say classic, but it's like older dude with an extra year of eligibility because of COVID. He goes and he just goes and beats up on these poor little guys, and then he's going to go to the NFL, and he's not. I don't like Jermaine Johnson. Part of it's probably because he's a traitor, leaving the dogs. But I mean, he wasn't going to get any playing time anyway, so whatever. I just don't. I think he's an older dude beating up on a bunch of college kids. Like that's the way I see it.
I agree with you. I mean, he's 23. He was he's kind of a late bloomer. He was only a 2-star out of high school, and I don't think he has elite speed for the position in the NFL. And I think there's a lot better value that the Ravens could get at this spot. And so I think that
maybe even look receiver at this spot.
Yeah, or D-line.
Not receiver, but
yeah,
I think Rashad Bateman.
I think you definitely keep it on the line. Yeah,
I'm not saying you close the door on Rashad Bateman. I just think injury wise, it's iffy there. It's iffy, and then I think that Marquise Hollywood Brown is a liability sometimes. It's just like he can't. Maybe Hollywood could be your number one, but it's tough when. I don't know. I think maybe receiver here. I think I would have gone maybe like a Drake London maybe, but I'm not the Ravens, so
I don't know. I don't know if a Drake London would fit the Ravens scheme that well because he's definitely not the speedster. But I see what you're saying with receiver. Getting some help because if you're Harbaugh, you just are scared of every position getting injured because that's what they were last year. You're afraid of your depth everywhere, and I think I maybe wouldn't have taken Jermaine Johnson, but if I didn't, I definitely would have still gone defensive line, I think, just to keep that hunker down, especially seeing as you bring Calais Campbell out of where he was almost going to retire and he comes back, you get a young guy under Calais Campbell's wing for a year or two. I think that could be a huge help to a younger defensive lineman coming in. And could really be scary. And in the AFC North, you have to get after Joe Burrow because the Bengals are not just – they have made a lot of changes to that offensive line. They're not just leaving it alone. So, and the Steelers' offensive line feels like always reliable. I can't remember a year where the Steelers had a bottom 5 offensive line or anything like that. So, and then not to mention Deshaun Watson. The last thing you want to do is give him more time, right? Assuming he's – playing the whole still up in the air there, but if he is, then it'll be really interesting. You got to get him off of his game. So I definitely think D-line here for sure. But I see your concern with receiver. They definitely don't go very deep at receiver, that's for sure. And they lost Sammy Watkins. Not that he was a game changer or anything, but that's a loss of depth. So you're running out of guys.
Receiver and corner are deep classes here in this draft. So
true.
If
you can go later.
Love a guy in a different round, then that's something that could still get fixed.
Yeah, no, and I like for the Ravens, and with that we'll go. I gave Brett when he's not scouting. He is a resident Eagles fan, so I gave Brett his Eagles here because I was really looking forward to hearing his input on this Eagles team because I think it's such an interesting team because I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan myself. I loved him for his freshman year of college at Alabama, and I loved seeing how he transformed to be able to throw the ball as well in just, a year or two. I definitely think you give him another shot here for another year or two, especially in a weak quarterback class like this. So, Brett, what are you taking with the Eagles here with these 2 picks here soon?
Quarterback is not even on my board.
Yeah, no way.
Eagles. So there's like 4 or 5 guys that I really like here. And so with the Eagles going down from 3 firsts to 2 this year, I'm going to draft this first pick based on what I think they'll do at 15. And then if at 18, I think I'm going to take what I want to happen. So at 15, I would be happy with this pick as well, but I'm going to go with Jamison Williams to pair with Devontae Smith.
I love that. That's, talk about a scary duo right there, especially losing Zach Ertz. Devontae Smith, I feel like, was really the only receiving threat they had last year. It felt like whenever he didn't have a big game, the Eagles' offense as a whole didn't do very well or have a big game, and teams just figured out taking him away was the best way to, remedy that offense. So I like the pick a lot. Jamison Williams, I think, he'll be, he should be ready to play. And he's a phenomenal wide receiver. So I like it a lot.
I agree. I think he is a good fit here and also the second best wide receiver on the board. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I thought, you never know where a guy like him is going to go in this draft, especially with the injury. Where he's going to go without the injury. He's going to go top 10.
Yeah.
But I think, maybe even top 5. I don't know. But I think with the injury is questionable, and I think, it's about right. I think about midway through the first here. It's about proper.
Yeah,
so.
I'd put him anywhere in the middle of like 10 and 20. I think. If I don't see him dropping farther than that because other teams don't want Patrick Mahomes to have, no one wants to have Patrick Mahomes or Rodgers with Williams there. So you got to take him if your team is at all in need with such a great wide receiver talent there as well. So it's a good one. And then with that, we go right into the Saints now. So we got the Saints. I believe, Colin, you got the Saints double pick here too as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of confused about what the Saints are doing with the shuffling of the picks, because I'm trying to see a guy here who you're willing to jump just a few spots ahead for, and I've decided in the past 30 seconds here that it's going to be Trevor Penning, the man from Northern Iowa.
Yeah.
You lost your right tackle here, so you got to replace him. And I think that he's probably the best tackle left on the board, and it leaves your options open for our next pick in the future here.
Yeah, 6'7", 325, massive tackle. You're right. They have to replace Armstead in Miami now, so they can't just leave that position untouched. So I like the pick.
Let me ask you this: when's the Saints next pick?
It's at 19.
19?
Yep.
You don't think Trevor Penning would have been there 19?
I can't guarantee it. I'm not picking for those two teams, so.
Wait, you're not picking for? Oh wait, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're picking Saints again though, right?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if I'm you, I wait, but that's just I don't know.
We'll see who gets fired next offseason, and we'll see.
Yeah. I think the Saints probably don't go tackle at 16. I think they probably go wide receiver, if I had to guess. They probably go London or Olave or something.
What I can see to kind of back Colin on his tackle pick here is, honestly, in this mock draft that we're doing right now, a lot less receivers have gone off the board than I would expect at this point. So I think with only Garrett Wilson and Jamison Williams off the board, I think the receiver depth is crazy this year. So I think maybe that went into Colin's decision there too, to picking the tackle first, get out of the way, because you never know when a team might want to take that really like last big tackle off the board. Honestly, like that's the last like first round, I guess, grade, and then you still have plenty of receiver talent down here on the board. So correct me if I'm wrong, Colin, but I like the prioritization, I guess, of offensive line is when you're definitely going to need it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said it before, but offensive tackle, offensive line, defensive line, these are positions that you must have. And the Saints have serviceable wide receivers right now. They're not game changers. And, you know, I'm looking at these teams that are picking in the two spots between my picks, and I'm thinking, I think that one of my guys could fall here to 19, and I'll be fine. And it'll be gravy, so.
Yeah, like it. And with that, we'll go right to, let's see, we got the Chargers actually in between these guys with the double picks. So, Bob, we got you on the Chargers at 17. The Chargers, you know, far from a team that needs a lot of help. So this is really a premium pick for them, I think.
Yeah, I think I can have a little fun here.
For sure.
With the Chargers. I'm thinking, you know, maybe offensive tackle. You know, I was thinking I really like my boy from Central Michigan, Bernard Raymond.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. But you know who I like better is the man who reigns from Utah. I'm going to take Devin Lloyd with the 17th pick.
Okay.
And we are going to kind of fill in that linebacker position for the Chargers here. I think Devin Lloyd is a good pick there, in my humble opinion. Especially, I think that, I don't know, I think that you could have looked other places as well, but I think that linebacker is a need that needs to be filled, and Devin Lloyd sitting here at 17, why not?
Yeah, super talented. We've raved about Devin Lloyd for one or two episodes now. We both are pretty high on him. I like Devin Lloyd here for the Chargers because the Chargers aren't necessarily in a oh my god I need this position. They have a very good core team and good team around them. So Devin Lloyd is just kind of a cherry on top of an already great team. So I like the pick a lot.
I love the pick. He's a great player. I could see linebacker here or wide receiver again here. I could see him keeping London in LA. I could see him going to Olave just to give Justin Herbert as many weapons as possible.
I've seen Big Jordan Davis here as a popular pick, and
I've seen that too.
I kind of want it to happen just because I feel like it's fun. It puts him in a great spot to win. So that's what I thought maybe was going to happen, but the run defense is getting picks either way.
They brought him in to fill that tackle position. So I think that the D line. I think that I don't think you really need Jordan Davis, but
it'd be a fun pick though. Athens to LA, you love to see it. But yeah, now we're back at 18 with Brett again on the Eagles. Eagles and Saints, they're picking so close here. So Brett, this is your want pick, right? This is
Yeah. Well, my wants have been changing because But we did sign Hassan Reddick this offseason. So Jason Kelce did sign for another year. However, I think that a successor to him is going to be very important because center is one of the most important positions. So I'm going to go Tyler Linderbaum, who I think is one of the best players in the draft.
Absolutely love it.
Bob loves that.
The wrestler from Iowa, baby.
Yep.
I've been high on him for a while.
It's
phenomenal. Yeah. I just feel like he could be Jason Kelce, like 2.0.
It's crazy. I don't know. I still think it's a little high to see a center go, but I love it.
It's one of those where he's not getting to the second round, or maybe even out of the first round, right? So, having that locked down is just, pure NFL talent. 2 years in a row, best center in the nation in college football. There's not much else to say. Even some of the best players who come out aren't the number one ranked at their position 2 years in a row. So I love the Linderbaum pick, and I know Bob's a big fan.
Colin, got anything to say?
No. Like you, Bob, I'm a fan of the wrestlers, so bring them on. Let's go.
Wrestle some bears, baby. All right.
Perfect. And then right back to Colin with the Saints again here. We got back-to-back Colin picks coming up, actually.
Well, I feel pretty good taking Trevor Penning here because both of my receivers are still available.
Yep.
It's tough. Both my receivers. Yeah. It's tough, really, to choose here because they are different. But I'm going to go with Drake London.
Okay.
Because the future with Michael Thomas is a little uncertain. You're going to get a number one receiver out of Drake London in size and in ability. Mm-hmm. And I think that frees you up to do what you will with Michael Thomas. I think Chris Olave maybe doesn't have as high a ceiling as Drake London does.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like the pick.
I like it.
I've been really high on Drake London to put up the stats that he did in, with I think in just 8 games it was, and over almost 1,000 receiving yards, like absolutely unbelievable pick there. So I love him falling that deep. He's a Saints guy. Like I can see him in a Saints uniform already. You can absolutely see that, and I think they would go for him over Olave strictly on the size and wanting him at the number one, even though they have my boy on the Saints, Lil Jordan Humphrey, out of Texas, undrafted rookie from a couple of years back. I loved him coming in college, loved him coming out, and it was really fun to see him actually put in some work for the Saints last year. But, at the end of the day, doesn't have the ceiling, like you just said, that Drake London could. So, yeah, I like it a lot.
He's not going to run past you, but he's just a leader route running, and he's just a big dude, he's 6'4". And Michael Thomas is also a big receiver too, so I think that I can see them going a speedster here, but Drake London is the best receiver on the board at this spot too, so can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Drake London here all the way, in my opinion. I think he literally replaces Michael Thomas, and like you said, he can be gone. Like, you can do whatever you want with Michael Thomas at this point.
Who knows what Michael Thomas is going to do, or what, he's one of those players almost like a Cooper Kupp, but not in the same way. Cooper Kupp last year, everyone kind of forgot who he was at the start of the year, right? I got him in every fantasy draft I was in, like in a bit of the later middle rounds, right? Because you forget how much of a high-producing receiver he was, and especially that was with Jared Goff, and now he had Stafford. So Michael Thomas is the same in the sense that, with his injuries and his drama, people have kind of forgotten who Michael Thomas, who's that guy? Oh, he was the, leading receiving leader with Drew Brees there. He was, Drew Brees' guy. Drew Brees, and throughout his career, always has his guy, right? Whether it's Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham, he had Michael Thomas, so obviously, Breezy not there anymore, sad to see. But yeah, I think Michael Thomas is a total question mark, and I think he'll come back and be good, but I don't think it'll be with the Saints. I think there's too much fractured there. Who knows? Maybe he'll like that Sean Payton's gone. Maybe him and Sean Payton weren't best friends or something like that. You never know. He seems like a guy who could maybe be a little bit petty over stuff like that with a lot of the stories and the drama that came out about him last year. But yeah, I like the Drake London pick, and with that, Colin, go right into number 20 with the Steelers. The Steelers are a really interesting team at 20 here, I think.
Yeah, I think in another draft, the Saints are looking at a quarterback, either with one of their first picks, or in it, you use them as a trade piece to get up in the draft to draft a quarterback. And I think the Steelers are going to take a quarterback here, and I think they're going to keep Kenny Pickett in the state of Pennsylvania.
My boy.
And they're gonna take Kenny Pickett here and have him fight with Mitch Trubisky for the starting spot.
Yeah, no, I
agree.
I've said enough about Kenny Pickett on this podcast. I love him. He's my number one quarterback overall. Fantastic, NFL ready. That Steelers team is ready for, a change at quarterback and ready for some new blood to be in there, whether it be Mitch or Kenny, because I do, I'm not at all down on Mitch. I would say I like that he's getting another chance, but, it'll really prove it if he can compete with Kenny Pickett in training camp and all that. And, who knows, maybe Mitch starts a year and Kenny just rides the bench for a year or two. Nothing wrong with that either. You learn so much as a rookie. There's so many quarterback stories. You can talk about Aaron Rodgers. You can talk about Patrick Mahomes, even riding the bench for a couple of years and just becoming a fantastic after that. So it'll be really interesting to see here if they do go Kenny Pickett, because I really do like the pick, and I think keeping him in Pitt again, it's fun, right? Just like Aiden Hutchinson in Detroit. So it's an easy pick to make, I think. Brett, what do you think on Kenny Pickett?
Everyone was making fun of him because of his hand size.
Yeah, same with Burrow.
I'm a little. The only thing that concerns me, obviously, I think he was second longest in time to throw. Well, I think, or he held onto the ball like until the last second, and you can't do that in the NFL. You'll take too many sacks. The guys are way too fast.
He's not a throw it away guy. You're right.
Yeah, and he needs to learn that. But he did. He had a great leap into his last year. We've seen that with a lot of quarterbacks. Joe Burrow obviously had a big leap. I'm not comparing the
massive leap.
Joe's obviously a lot better, but these quarterbacks that have this last year in college where they take this big leap, I think is kind of what you see with Kenny Pickett. And I think it'll be interesting. I think he's probably the most pro ready, but again, we'll see how this game translates.
He'll make his mistakes for sure, but they all do. All the rookies do. So, but that's it goes to show where we're at, right? As football fans, I feel like a lot of media in general is expecting Patrick Mahomes right out of the gate, and people forget that it took Patrick Mahomes a year or two to really sit and learn, and even an Aaron Rodgers, right? So I love Kenny to Pittsburgh here, and that leads us into number 21, Bob, New England Patriots. Sorry to give you the team that gives you nightmares, but someone's got to pick them. I can't do it.
Yeah, I think here with the Patriots, they have never really lucked out with first-round wide receivers.
Never.
It's something that they really struggle with drafting for some reason. But this year's not the year. I'm taking... Oh, wow. I don't know. I stopped myself. I was about to say it. Nah, I'm going to say it. George Pickens. I got George Pickens.
Wow. Really? I thought for sure you were going Jordan Davis there, because Bill Belichick loves his Georgia boys, but you actually go the Georgia receiver with Pickett. Wow, him and Devontae Parker as a 1-2. That's nothing to scoff at. I like Pickens. I think it's going to be an interesting. He'll be an interesting guy. I'm kind of annoyed you picked him. I had him on my board for a later pick here. So, Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, he's one of my reaches a little bit. Is I think that I'm happy with with who he's going to with the Patriots, and I think that there's somebody who isn't afraid to reach there at 21. I think that they're going to get their guy. Bill Belichick's going to get his guy. So,
yeah.
What do we got? Somebody rebuttal me.
I'm a bit surprised. I like Pickens. I'm surprised getting him at 21. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's a bit of the Georgia bias, but I really like Pickens. I think will pan out well. I'm just surprised him over some of the other receivers available.
Me too.
Me three. I mean, I'll get up on the stand with you and say that he's underrated because of the knee, but here with the guys that you have ahead of him, even your boy Jahan Dotson ahead of him,
True.
It's hard for me to see that as how you went, but you did it, and you did it proudly.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Olave is just like, he would be the safe pick there, I think, and the Patriots, they don't. Who would have thought they were taking Mac Jones? Anyways,
yeah,
I think
no one saw that coming. That's for sure. That was a wild one.
I think Pickens here at 21 is not out of the realm of possibility. And like I said, I got first. You got to start taking some shots at some guys. Mm-hmm. And whoever's behind me, I left you Chris Olave.
And you did leave me Chris Olave, and I was really hoping he'd be gone by this point because I had such a great pick for the Packers here at 22. But I have to take him. I have to. I can't not take Chris Olave. I think the Packers, they're gonna take, maybe a safety here, maybe a defensive lineman because they are allergic to drafting wide receivers. Wow. I hope they should draft a receiver. Everyone's banging the table across the country for that, but the Packers love not drafting receivers. We'll see if they finally break the mold this year. But I'm going to take Olave right at 22 here. I think if they actually got Olave this late in the draft, Aaron Rodgers would be, doing laps around the house, cheering, finally, this is my guy, especially with losing Devontae Adams. So I have to take Olave. He's amazing. Ohio State, him and Garrett Wilson both were fantastic, very high rated on a lot of boards. A lot of people's, 1 and 2. There's a lot of people who take both of these Ohio State guys over some of the others. So I love having him here for the Packers and for Rodgers' sake here. So Ohio to Green Bay here. So what do you guys think on Olave there? I feel like it's a shoe-in.
No complaints. Just I think he's you have to take him here, especially with the loss of Devontae Adams. You need somebody, and I don't think the Packers have they not drafted. I don't think they've drafted a first-round receiver with Aaron Rodgers.
Not with Rodgers. Maybe I think they did back in early 2000s. I think is the last time, if ever.
So I think Aaron Rodgers would be very happy to see that, and I think he could definitely turn into be an elite receiver, especially with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're the Packers, you're pinching yourself if you get Olave at 22.
Yeah, 22.
I think they'd be happy with Jahan Dotson or Treylon Burks. So you get Chris Olave, I think you're over the moon.
Yeah,
Treylon Burks is sneaky. He's sneaky.
If Olave was off, that was going to be my pick. I'll just outright say it. That was definitely, I was going to be like, oh man, they're not going to see this coming. But I didn't see Olave being available coming, so here we are. So we go right to Brett here now with the 23rd pick for the Cardinals. Interesting team. Kyler Murray's happy now, by the way. I know we talked about it on Thursday. But Kyler Murray's happy now. Apparently, he's going to be staying in Arizona, and he's done with his tantrum. So, without quarterback being the worry, Brett, what do you like here?
So I think there's a couple of needs I think their offensive line still needs attention. I don't think they've been able to draft offensive linemen well for years. I also think their defensive line needs some attention.
Mm-hmm.
Given what's available, though, I think I almost have to go with line.
Been in the red and black. I like that.
Yeah. You gotta.
Yeah, no,
and I can't let the Cowboys get him either.
True. What do you think, Bob?
Cowboys were licking their chops to get Jordan Davis. I think that's who they're going after. I definitely think that's their target. But the Cardinals, I don't know. I feel like they haven't done anything at all this offseason. And I think that Kyler is kind of pitching his little hissy fit. And that I don't know. I don't know what you could have done on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe a guard or a tackle there.
Yeah.
But I guess if we're doing by needs, I don't know. If we're doing needs, I might go guard or tackle, but best available, it's not looking great there anymore, I don't think. But yeah, I like Jordan Davis there. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. They did lose. Oh no, never mind. No, I was thinking of Chandler Jones, but he's edge. So
yeah, so they got, I think Jordan Davis, that's a great, glue pick. You get him in the middle. Like you said, Bob, I definitely could have seen a guard or something here too, but maybe you really do want to just focus in on that defense for a little bit in this first round. Just worry about the offense a little bit later on here, see if you can get some depth. They really aren't struggling at many offensive positions, I don't think. So I like the Jordan Davis pick here a lot. And with the Cowboys now at pick 24, I'm not picking, this is not me picking, this is Jerry Jones. I'm Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, he loves his flashy players, but he's going to take the best lineman off the board right now, which is Zion Johnson. I'm honestly surprised he's dropped this low. I really like Zion Johnson. They need to fill in some of the holes that they just got on their offensive line from losing Lyle Collins and Connor Williams this year, as well as just the others always being in and out of injury, right? So I've got to take Zion Johnson, got to start bringing back this offensive line to its past greatness, and you worry about receiver filling in that Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson hole. You worry about that after, I think. You got to patch this up a little bit. You got to keep Dak healthy. You saw what the team is. We all saw what the team is without Dak at the helm, and it just doesn't feel the same or feel right. And I think Dak proved it right out of the gates in Week 1 against Tampa Bay last year. That was an amazing season opener game, probably one of the best ones I can remember, honestly. So I think you take the best lineman off the board to keep that man standing upright.
Such a great pick. It pains me to say that. The Cowboys, it's so good. And I think him being in the 20s, if I was a team picking in the mid-20s, I would be all over him if I needed offensive lineman.
Yep, I agree. I think he's phenomenal. Best guard in the draft. I think he's amazing. Phenomenal player.
The Cowboys have been, for the past few years, a team that has been known for their offensive line, and those guys grow up and go on and do their own things for their team, so you got to reload. And this is, I think it's a great spot to do that.
They raise him right in Dallas. They raise him right just to leave the nest to go get their max deal somewhere else.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd be there at 25.
No, sir.
My Buffalo Bills. But
Yeah. Well, then
I'm salty though.
Well, you got to get over it now because you're on the clock. 25. You got to shake it off. Okay, guys, we lost Zion Johnson. Who do we take as the Buffalo Bills here at 25?
I might be reaching here again, considering Zion was my pick. And you're forcing my hand. I really think that the Bills, I think they can use some help at the corner and the linebacker positions. And so I think that I've decided just right here and right now, I'm going to address the corner, and I'm not going to go with the Clemson boy. I'm going to go Jalen Petrie out of Baylor.
Okay.
I'm going to go with my boy Jalen Petrie. I'm going to select him here. I don't know. I really like Jalen Petrie.
I think he fits Buffalo well.
I agree. I was thinking linebacker, someone who can be middle of the field here, but I don't know. I think I think they need some coverage, and I'm gonna lock in on that. So
okay, yeah, I like it. Bills. I think they're getting a premium there with Petrie at 25, and sorry to snab Zion Johnson there, but it is what it had to be. So what do you call him, Brett? What do you guys think on Petrie here?
I probably would have went. I feel like D lineman is what probably will happen. I think the Bills defense was ranked pretty high last year. I'm not sure if they were number 1 or not. But they're definitely. I think they're going to stay defense or go receiver to pair with Diggs. They did lose Cole Beasley in the offseason, I think. So, I don't hate the pick at all. I'm not sure if that's what we'll actually see on draft night, but
I feel like they've addressed a lot of defensive players a lot of holes. They got Daquan Jones, and they got Tim Settle coming in, and they also got Von Miller. So I feel like I don't really think that they go D-line necessarily. That's why I guess I kind of went with corners. I think
I could see a Devontae Wyatt just because he's there. He's a phenomenal. I can't believe he's still here, to be honest. I definitely could have seen it because at the end of the day, I feel like, especially playing in the cold in December, you can never have enough defensive linemen to get after and stay haunting these quarterbacks. So I could see Devontae Wyatt just because of how good he is at the position. That's what I think. And the Bills could always add. But I like Petrie because they do need defensive back help in a division that does have a lot of threats at wide receiver. So I would like either or here. I'm just surprised that our boy is still on the board here. And with that, we got the Titans at 26. Who, Colin, your final pick, 26th overall with the Titans. Who do you like here?
Well, first, I want to say that I think cornerback is the right move for the Bills. Tre'Davious White, obviously coming off the ACL. They lost someone in free agency. I can't remember his name right now. I'm pretty sure he's their nickel corner, so they're gonna need someone to replace him. Petrie,
Levi Wallace.
No, I think Levi Wallace is still there. It's the guy who had the pick 6 in the 2020 playoffs. Can't remember his name, but that's not important right now.
Yeah.
Daxton Hill is who I was going to say is maybe another guy that they look at there, who's kind of a safety nickel hybrid. But I think that corner is the biggest need for the Bills. Now the Titans boasted a great defense last year. Mm-hmm. Thing that you're going to want to see for the Titans is replacing Roger Saffold, who left in free agency, obviously. So that makes my pick pretty easy with Kenyon Green, man from Texas A&M.
Yep. Versatile.
He can play all along the line. Slot him in at guard. He's going to start mauling people. Derrick Henry going to have another great year.
Yep. At the end of the day, I think that's what it comes down to. Derrick Henry, what are you doing for him? And Kenyon Green is exactly that. So I like it. That's all I have to say is Derrick Henry. That's all I have to say with that pick.
Build it on your best player and support him. I think it's a good pick.
I think versatility is. I think you said it best. You can slot him in. He started at every single offensive line position, except for center. So I think he'll be able to be.
Yeah. And then Brett, we got you at 27 with the Bucks here. What are we thinking?
Bucks. I think they did lose, some help on the O-line. But with Kenyon Green being gone, that was who I liked.
That's what I was thinking.
Address the other side of the line, address the D line, and I think Devontae Wyatt still being here at 27.
Yep. Have to.
It's a no-brainer for Tampa. I think it'd be a good pick for them.
Yeah, no, he's my number. I have him over Jordan Davis personally. I think he's phenomenal and absolute game changer. And my God, their front seven in Tampa is already terrifying. Like teams could not run against them last year, no matter what they tried. The only thing I remember is when Miami played Tampa last year, the only way they were able to get the running backs involved is having them run wheel routes and giving them screen passes because they had nothing to match up against that front seven. So to add Devontae Wyatt on top when they are, you put him with Vita Vea there, and that's terrifying for the NFC. Yep. So I love that pick, and for him to fall this far, that's a huge value pick for the Buccaneers, I think.
Yeah, I would hate to see it as a Falcons fan who enjoys scoring points. But obviously he stays in the red and black. I also have him higher than Jordan Davis personally, just because of the way that he plays. I think he's more of a factor in the pass rush than Davis is, and the NFL is a passing league now, so you fit him in there with Vita Vea, who's already a killer run stopper, and you've got yourself a disgusting defensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it. Bob, big Wyatt fan?
I mean, there's nothing really more to be said.
You're number one.
I mean, I agree that I put him above Jordan Davis. But I was, I was kind of kicking myself a little bit, not getting him with that Bills pick. But I think that Jalen Petrie at that Bills pick is, I think, reasonable. But I think looking back on it, maybe I would have gone Wyatt there. But yeah, I think that just speaks to Brett's pick. I think Devontae Wyatt's a great pick there.
Yeah, phenomenal. And I'm right up again here with the Packers, and it is taking everything in me to not go back-to-back wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers here. I want to so bad. Oh my gosh, if a Chris Olave and a Burks or a Jahan Dotson would just be so awesome. It would just be so fun. But you have to address the loss of Zadarius Smith. That is such a huge loss for that Packers defense, I think. And I love that this guy's still here, and I think he'll be here in real life too. I think he's going to fall to these later picks, and I've raved about him in previous episodes. I want David Ojabo right here. I want David Ojabo, edge rusher, counterpart to Hutchison there, that heartbreaking injury in a workout for all these teams. He would be a top 10 or a top 15 pick, I think, I can say confidently top 10 without that injury. In training camp, he was phenomenal and was rising up everyone's boards, was getting more and more coverage, and then that Achilles. But he's going to be ready. He's going to be ready for the season. It came in early March. The doctors are saying that he's recovering very well. So if I'm the Packers, I have to address the loss to Zadarius Smith there and take Ojabo. He will be ready for the start of the season, if not within the first 4 weeks. So I have to take him. Too much potential.
I disagree. I mean, talent-wise, he's been projected top 15 all year until the injury. So I think that if he's ready and if he's similar to what he was, then I think that the Packers will be very pleased with their pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's about whether or not he comes back from the injury the same player.
Yep.
I'm personally more scared of Achilles injuries than ACL at this point. But it's a spot that they need help in. I would love to have seen the double receiver just because
I wanted to so bad.
Aaron Rodgers has been hoping for it for so long for just a little bit of help.
Yep.
They trade away his number one target and bring him into new guys. I think it would be poetic, but David Ojabo here has the chance to be the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the next 2 picks here with the Chiefs, so I'll round this out here, and then I'll make my selection as well.
Okay.
I wish he was here at 29. I was going to take David Ojabo here with one of these 2 picks for the Chiefs. I'm disappointed I didn't get him.
I stole you twice now, Bob. Zion Johnson.
Yeah, it's a little, it's disappointing. I thought I was gonna get the honor of the steal of the draft, but Curtis swipes it one position ahead of me. So I really like the pick there. I don't think that you can go wrong with that pick. I was actually thinking maybe down here I'd get lucky with a Jermaine Johnson all the way down here in the first round, but Colin had to go and spoil that one too. So we've completely here with the 29th and 30th picks of the draft. I got back-to-back. We've completely gone not off the rails, but I'm not going edge.
Off script.
I'm not going edge. There's nothing.
Yep.
I'm not looking edge here. So I think that I've decided that with the 29th, it doesn't really matter what order I take them in. I'm just trying to figure out what will be the more, I don't know, more controversial, more fun pick. I don't know.
Yeah.
29th pick. Chiefs need a wide receiver. I'm going Jahan
Dotson. You got it. I knew it.
Boy.
I knew it.
You gotta go with it. I love
gotta bring in the
man.
boy.
He's phenomenal. I think that Patty Mahomes is gonna love him. and I think that all these little 1-year guys that they've been signing, with Juju and MVS I mean, I think Jahan Dotson is gonna fit in nicely there. So I like that pick at 29. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I love Dotson as well.
I know,
very high on him. But I will say I don't think the Chiefs would actually do it. I love the pick and I'd love to see it happen, but I feel like the Chiefs are really gambling on these 1-year receiver contracts. You don't spend this money and take one with your first. Maybe, now that they have 2 first-round picks with that Tyreek loss, I think they do maybe address it here, and we'll see which receivers do fall. If Dotson maybe goes earlier, I thought about him to the Packers there at 28, so I was really close. So we'll see with the Chiefs, but it's an interesting. The Chiefs are an interesting team to have 2 picks at this point in the draft. I think there's a lot of still top talent on the board, but maybe not at positions that they absolutely need. Like last year, losing Matthew, I think is still huge. Maybe you look at a Daxton Hill here, right, or something like that. But you have the back-to-back, so I'll let Colin and Brett comment on the Dotson pick because I know you might have that queued up still for 30.
Yeah, you said. I mean, they did lose Tyrann Mathieu, but they also picked up Justin Reed, which I think
that's true.
Fill in that position just nicely. I mean, can't complain with the Dotson pick. I think the more weapons Mahomes has, the better.
Yeah.
It's a team that's already they basically live in the AFC Championship. It feels like so. Can't go wrong with a receiver.
Yeah. If I would change anything, I'd say Treylon Burks, but
no, that's not what they're looking for. They're not.
You never know. You never know.
And I'll say this with the 30th pick is, I was thinking about going back-to-back receivers.
Really?
And
you're crazy.
And it's to spice things up. It's like, why not? I'm not gonna do it. If I was gonna do it, I wouldn't even pick Treylon Burks here. I'd pick Sky Moore.
I love. Yeah.
I know it. I see Colin's face, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. And the reason I'm not gonna do it is I know Brett. He talked about a little bit about the safety position. Tyrann Mathieu's leaving, and they're bringing in Justin Reed, and I don't think he's the guy though. I think I'm gonna go with Lewis Seen here with the 30th pick. I'm gonna get Lewis Seen here to fill in that safety position. I love Mr. Drapes. He's my favorite player on the Georgia defense all season long. The curtains that cover the eyes, he can't see the ball because of his hair. But I like him. I like him a lot. I like him. They need a safety, sort of. I'd say that Justin Reed he's good, but
Yeah, he's fantastic. He needs his partner in crime though, for sure. I agree. And
right.
I don't know. I'm surprised you didn't go corner with either pick. I will say that. especially because I think there's.
Man. Yeah, I was thinking Andrew Booth too, but then I was
I think that it is close. Like I love Seen though. Seen is. And he replaces the hard hitting of Matthew as well.
That completely slipped my mind. I wasn't even thinking. He wasn't even on my radar for some reason. But I don't know. I'm still. It would have been a toss up, even if he wasn't.
Still a need.
A toss up between the two. Yeah. It would have been a toss up between the two. So I'm happy with my pick, but he's Mr. Booth is someone that I should have thought about, but I didn't. So anywho.
I mean, does this mean I don't have to watch Daniel Sorensen anymore?
Yeah.
I can watch Justin Reed and Lewis Seen. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. No,
awesome secondary.
Sorensen, them losing Sorensen. That's who I couldn't get his name on Thursday's episode. It was just going through my head, and I couldn't remember his name, and I looked it up right after and texted Bob. I was like, oh my God, Sorensen. He went to, I think, the Saints, right? I believe he went to the Saints. I'll fact check myself here. But yeah, no, I like the pick. Colin, what do you think on Seen here?
I don't love it personally, but I'm not the GM of the Chiefs, so I would have done Burks and Booth or Elam or Hill, but you know, you can slice it whatever way you like, I guess.
Yeah, Sorensen is with the Saints now too, so that definitely is that need. That's a huge pickup for the Saints too. Not to mention that's a very low key, amazing pickup for the Saints because Sorensen's all over the field all the time. So
and
yeah,
they lost Malcolm Jenkins, I think. So
yeah, he retired. Yep, he is in the retirement home now. But yeah, with that being said, we got Brett on 31 with the Bengals. Are you going to take an offensive lineman to keep Joe Burrow out of the retirement home, or are we thinking somewhere else here?
Well, they did sign 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah, and Lyle Collins too. So
yeah,
definitely have patched that.
Yeah, I would probably address the offensive line if I thought that if they hadn't done that already. But I think that Bengals fans don't want to sit there and watch Eli Apple on big plays anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to go with Andrew Booth at this spot.
Okay. I like it. I like Andrew Booth here. Another guy I like, and now that it's just my pick left that I'll throw out there, I really thought Kyler Gordon. I thought one of us, including myself, might sneak a Kyler Gordon pick here because him and McDuffie were an awesome 1-2, but I still like Booth as well. He's definitely proven. I think he's a three-year corner at Clemson, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got he's got that playtime under his belt. So I like the pick for sure. A bright spot on a kind of gloomy Clemson team this year. Definitely not to what they were expected to be, right? So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a spot that they need it, and like you said, Eli Apple he's a player for the Bengals that needs to be replaced. So
he is a player. You're right.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Booth is someone that I totally slipped my mind that I maybe could have gone with the Chiefs pick there, but
the pressure of the draft got to you. That's what.
Yeah, I'm just not. I wish I was looking at a big board because it was just like,
pop to you.
I need it in front of me. You know what I mean? I kind of lost track of Devontae Wyatt, and then here we are now. So, but
yeah, and so with that, we'll bring it down to the 32nd pick here. So last pick in the first round, we got the Lions coming again. Second pick in the 32nd pick. Huge gap there. I think if you're the Lions, you're pretty happy with how our mock draft played out. I think there's still some talent at linebacker here. They need that help on the inside, and they kind of need a shot caller, right? I think they also need a lot of help at the DB and safety position, right? And you could even argue if you're high on a Ritter or Corral or Howell that they maybe scoop them here right at the end and don't wait to the second round when you've just got the Jags in between you and this pick, the Jags pick next starting the second round, and then the Lions pick again. So maybe they do hold off. I'm not particularly high on any of the remaining quarterbacks at all, to be honest. I'm barely high on Malik Willis, and I like Kenny a lot. But with this, to close out the first round, I'm gonna have to take Daxton Hill. I think Daxton Hill, a great safety talent here out of Michigan. And I think it's a position that the Lions really need a lot of help at, as well as many other defensive back and linebacker positions. So it's just, I think you're happy if you're a Lions fan. You get Aiden Hutchinson and Daxton Hill, two Michigan guys. That was actually unintentional, I promise. But two Michigan guys staying in Detroit. And I think that is a happy place for the Lions to be and continue the draft. You got another pick up here, so maybe you take your linebacker at pick 34 coming up. But yeah, that really rounds out the draft here. So what do you guys think of the draft overall? I think biggest shock was definitely Thibodeau dropping to 4 for me, I think, because that was my plan number 2. What did you guys feel about the draft?
What if we each do our favorite picks and our least favorite picks for our
Sure.
personal selections?
Sure. Sounds good. You want to start us off, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say I think that I don't know. I think that one of my favorite picks is going to be probably Devin Lloyd at the Chargers.
Yeah.
I'd say that pick was probably, I think, best value I think I got at 17 there. And I think that, I don't know, I like that pick. I didn't think that I could really go wrong with him there, especially with the Chargers team.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I'd say probably my least favorite pick, personally, for myself, would probably be, I don't know, because it's a little bit of a gamble, and considering who was there, I'd say Pickens to the Patriots.
Yeah,
I think that
it's a fun one.
I like. Yeah, I was thinking, Lewis Cine here at the end with the Chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think I like Lewis Cine, so I think I'm more iffy on Pickens than I am on Lewis Cine. So those are my biggest, I think my best and my worst picks. So what about you guys?
Brett, what are you thinking?
My favorite pick, not to be biased, but I think Linderbaum to the Eagles is my favorite pick, just because I think that
For sure.
I think he's gonna go. I think he's a top 10 player in the draft, and I think that falling to 18, would be awesome, because I think he's like a decade-long starter at center. I think he's like gonna be like Jason Kelsey 2.0. I think if he sits behind him a year or has to fill in for him if Kelsey gets injured, because Kelsey's old. I think he'll slide right in. I think he's going to be awesome. My least favorite pick is definitely Malik Willis, because I don't like the quarterback. I kind of picked it based on what I thought would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Malik Willis didn't do well versus pressure really. He really struggled against a lot of the Power 5 defenses. So the competition wasn't really there. So I mean, the NFL, even compared to Power 5 defenses, the NFL is a whole nother monster. So. It's definitely my least favorite pick, or the pick that I feel like I'm least confident in.
Yeah, I think I like that one too. It was fun, but yeah, you're right. He's far from a NFL ready prospect, I think. So it's definitely a risk, but probably a risk the Seahawks are willing to take. They're in a weird spot right now. They could be set to be pretty bad for the next year or two.
Yeah, and they're the only team I think that would take that risk, because they just tend to get so many. Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf. I mean, even with free agents, they'll sign guys with questions. Totally.
No, I agree. Colin, what do you think? What's your favorite and your least favorite pick?
One, I think it's Stingley actually at 10.
Yeah.
Because he's got the potential to be the best player in the draft. And you get him at 10, and you completely change your defensive secondary, as well as your defensive line. Least favorite, I guess it's going to have to be Jermaine Johnson to the Ravens, but it's not because I don't think that he's not going to be a good player. I just think that it's a hard spot for me there based on how it's a hard spot for the Ravens there, based on how the draft played out. Based on what they need, either reach for a corner or just strengthen a position that you're not super weak in already. But that's what I would say. It's probably Jermaine Johnson.
I think McDuffie not dropping to 14 for you there. I think McDuffie would have been perfect for the Ravens, but Bob definitely snagged that one up for the Commanders there.
Yeah.
So that was and I'll say, I don't know. This is a tough one. I would say my least favorite pick is probably that final pick, Daxton Hill, for the Lions. It's definitely not the pick I wanted. There was a few guys that I was hoping. I honestly stole a pick for myself with Ajabo, but yeah, I'd have to take him as my least favorite pick, and probably my favorite pick being, I'm gonna say it's Ekwonu for the Panthers. I really think that would be the smartest pick for the Panthers. I really hope they don't just totally blow up and take a risk at QB when you have no room in this draft to build any depth. I think it's a really scary spot for the Panthers to be in. as a front office. So I think you had to take Ekwonu dropping to 6. A lot of guys have him going top 5, some even top 3 to the Texans. But it's one of those where I hope the Panthers do it for the Panthers' sake, but I don't think they will. It doesn't seem to be trending that way. But yeah, we'll see. That was a fun mock draft. Pleasure having both of you, college football guru and recruiting professional Brett Nelson and Colin Sanders. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Bob, always a pleasure with you too, of course.
Yes. It's got to be, considering we see each other on a weekly basis here on the pod. So.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. Any closing remarks, any hot takes we want to end on, just in case, you guys might not be back on the show for a minute here, because we're after the draft, things will probably die down for a while. But any hot takes, anything you want to say?
Well, about draft stuff, Treylon Burks and Nakobe Dean making it to the second round. Some teams are going to be very happy finding those guys sitting in their lap.
For sure.
And hot takes, Hawks are coming back, down 3-1, making it to the second round.
Bro, you literally just said we were gone. You said we were
gone. No. Sorry.
I don't know.
The Hawks are coming back for the Sixers.
What do you mean? Toronto's coming back against the Sixers. What are you talking?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Brett, any close?
Toronto's coming back against the Sixers is my hot take.
Fair. That's fair. They're not likely. But we love to see Scotty getting out there. But yeah, Brett, any closing football draft remarks here?
Nakobe Dean, dropping to the second round is a bit surprising.
Totally.
Bernard Raymond, also, I think he's a first-round guy. I think some teams going to take him. I mean, offensive linemen are hard to come by, and especially tackles. It's a position of need for a lot of teams. So
you're right.
I think those two falling to the second round, I think they'll probably be the first 2 taken, maybe.
I would think so if they do fall to the second round for sure. That'll be the fun of it. We'll definitely, episode after the draft, me and Bob will definitely have to compare our mock draft. I'm gonna save it here to my computer, and we'll go pick for pick and just see how wrong we are. Because at the end of the day, even the experts, you look back. I was doing some reviews of the past couple of years, just even the last 1 or 2 years, and it's so funny, every expert and every draft analyst has their picks, but at the end of the day, you maybe get 6 of these right.
Trades always mess it up too. So.
Yeah, trades throw everything off, and some teams reach, and other teams trade out when they might want a position. So yeah, trades and reaching, that'll throw it off. So. Yeah, great episode. A lot of fun doing this with you guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will catch all of you guys on probably Friday. I think we're going to try to get a Friday episode out here just to recap the first round right off the bat, and we'll go from there. So make sure to check this out on Spotify and YouTube, and we will see you guys next time.
Yes, sir. See you guys.
Okay, nice.